The first thing we're going to open, finished one. Let's do that. On page 643, by the way, I want to just remember to tell you that there's a great diagram of all the tools, and when there's little tiny arrows, what other tools are under them. So this red is bleed. So sometimes, often, you have photographs and things like that going off the page so you don't have a white border. Well, it's got to go out to the red line. The black is the actual size of the document, and the magenta line right here, the line where you want to keep all copy and pictures inside of if you want to make sure that they read. The nice thing, I'm going to go to the selection tool here. It's easier because I have a pointer. This is called the paste board, and you can leave stuff out on this paste board and not worry about it printing if you want it like print it home and see what it looks like. Right now we're in the Essentials workspace. Let's change to the typography. These are our pages, and here are some of our panels, and here's our toolbar. Since we've gone over Photoshop in guides, there is a difference using guides with InDesign. If you pull a guide and you pull it from the rulers, I changed this to inches, by the way. It often defaults to picas because this was developed as a print layout program. It's now used for a lot of other things, or page layout, and print tends to be in picas. But if I drag it and I'm inside this document, the guide will stay inside the document. I'm going to undo that. But if I drag the guide from outside the document, it'll go onto my paste board. Sometimes I prefer this because I can see where it's going. It's not going to make a difference to the document itself. I'm going to bring the rulers back, show rulers, grab this guide and pull it up. Let's go to display modes, which is down here. See in your toolbar, if you click there, come on, that's normal. There, you have to click and hold. So go to preview. So now you don't see any of the guides. Let's go, mine's being click and hold. Bleed, so it's going to show the bleed. You have to click that, you have to click and hold. This is going to show the slug area. This is going to be presentation mode. So if you were showing a client, you might want to show it in this mode because it looks really clean and nice. And then if you want to get out of here, you have to escape. Most of the Adobe programs, InDesign also has panels. And one of the panels that they mention is the toolbar. The toolbar functions a little differently. So you can have it horizontal, and you can have it double column or single column vertical. Now I like single column vertical, but I can't move it around very easily when it's single column, so I'll make it, if I want to move it, I'll make it double, and then I'll turn it into single because I can't seem to grab it in that tiny little area to move it. So, and there you have it. Now I got that. I had to go around a few. I'm skipping over saving workspace and stuff like that because in this class, we've been doing that in every program. Photoshop, Illustrator, Page, working with the control panel. So click on this headline and you've got the type tool. I went to the type tool, here's the type. Let's take a look at the Pages panel. I'm going to bring it into view here. You can use the Pages panel, oh there you were. You can use the Pages panel to navigate between document pages, rearrange pages, also add or remove pages. You can also use it to create transitions between pages that are distributed as electronic documents. Okay, so double click page 2, and I'm gonna fit on screen so it'll move it to the middle. I double click the hand tool is what I did. You can go to view, fit on screen, also fit page in window. There's a number of different, let's zoom in really tight. Well, that's not really tight, zoom in. There we go. And now if you want to fit it on screen, you can also go to View, Fit Page in Window. Let's say we just want to zoom in on the logo. See this marquee? This is a marquee. In Photoshop there is a marquee tool, but it does something different. But you can marquee things and it'll zoom it way up, which is really nice for our working. And if this is too much, hold the Option or Alt key, depending on what platform you're on. And then I'm going to hold the space bar, which gives me a temporary hand, so I can move it in the center and see it really well. Again, I'm going to go Fit in Window. And now we're going to start formatting type next, entering and formatting type. Okay, we've been working with the done one. So we're going to navigate to File, Browse and Bridge. Go to the lessons. Those are the links. You'll understand what links are in a little bit. I already made a working file. I don't know how far I got on it. I don't know if I finished it or not, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to open what they told me to open. I'm going to drag it because I have more than one version of InDesign. And I'm going to resave the way they said to save. So I'm going to go Save As. And hopefully I can save over. And the way I can be sure to save over, see this grayed out type? This is a trick, but you have to be careful because if you click the wrong thing, you're going to save something in the wrong format. But watch where it says Save As at the top. So now I know for sure I'll save over anything I might have done on InDesign 01. See, it says replace, and yes, I do want to replace. If your page isn't centered, make sure you double click page 1. I think this one is. Oh, moved a little. In the Tools panel, I must have gone out, yeah. In the Tools panel, select the Type tool. It's a T, just like in Photoshop. And we're going to create a new text frame. So position your cursor along the left side of the page where the left margin and guide and the first horizontal line meet. So that's the bleed. We don't need to do it at the bleed. So that would be, see, here's the guide, the first horizontal guide, and here is the left line, which is basically in video it'd be called title safe. It's safe. So I'm going to click here, and then I'm going to drag on. This isn't quite as high as I want it. There it is. I can alter that. I'll do that later. We have our new text frame, and we're going to type Fending Off the Winter Blues with Cross Training. Fending off the winter blues, blues with cross training. The text appears in a default font and size. Keep the cursor within the text frame, which it is. See, blinking away. And in the panel docking area, which would be over here, we've got our pages. Let me move this in a little bit, and then I'll move this in a little bit. We're going to open the paragraph styles, which would be this icon right here. And click the heading style. And there it is. This heading style has a number of attributes that we saved as a heading. we have a font, we have a size, and we have a style. It says here in lesson 4 we're going to get more into that. We did a little bit of this. Photoshop now has creating character and paragraph styles. This is a paragraph style. So you've touched on it. I haven't noticed the top line is a lot longer than the bottom line. To balance the lines, click the panel menu. You're going to click the panel menu of the control panel, which is this. See where my cursor is rolling along the top? I had to really look for it because on my screen, and I have a big screen, it went off screen. So I'm thinking, what panel menu? So if you're thinking what panel menu, you might have to separate this, because these are usually attached like this, or they're lined up like this. See here those little hash marks? They're like horizontal hash marks with a tiny little arrow pointing down. All of the Adobe Creative Suite have these. At least most of them do. And there's stuff in there that you might need. So since I have the type selected, I want to balance ragged lines. See? Boom. It moved with down to the next line. You have to undo redo in here because unlike Photoshop, it's got multiple levels of undo. So it's not like there's a history panel. For the copy we're going to use, you can type it in a Microsoft Word document, or you can type it right into InDesign. So let's take a stab at that. We're going to double click page 2. Okay, so this is the page, this is 2, this is 3. Okay, this is the original, and we're going to go back here and we're going to do the same thing, the center and right column. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to draw a text box. I'm going to get this. Here's what the original looks like in case you're confused. Look at the other one and I see where they drew the box. They have one long wide column. So I'm going to draw the box based on the magenta, which is safe for type. Everything will fit inside. If we have to alter the size of it a little bit, we'll be able to. There's the blinking cursor. In this lesson, we're going to import type. Importing Microsoft Word as a text file to fill in those 2 columns. So choose File Place. We're not going to do File Open. We're going to do File Place. And you're going to go into... So highlight wheels, it's a Microsoft Word text file. It is in the links folder. Remember, InDesign accesses things off the drive in a folder. So it's not really inside this document. It's referencing and bringing in what's outside the document, and it's formatting it. So we're going to open it. There's the text. I'm going to format the text using the paragraph style and body. So click body, and you see how it formatted the text? Now I believe I have to do it again. So I should have selected the whole thing. It would have been way easier. There we go. There is a way not to select the whole thing. As you saw, if I just had the cursor at the beginning of your wheels are probably right here, when I first hit the paragraph style, it only formatted this. When I select it all, and you can use the keyboard shortcut, Control or Command A, and select all the copy, and then hit body, and it'll do what I finally got it to do. I'm going to navigate to page 3. I'm going to have this, I want to show you another way to do it, so I'm going to fit, spread in window, and that looks really tiny. See, there's a 2, that's 1, so I have to go in the other direction, 2, and 3. A heads up, you can click the pages in the pages panel, You can also go down here and pick pages, columns and pages. So we're going to page 3, and we're going to use this little pop-up menu from the bottom left of your document. There's the frame created by the text tool. Do you see it in blue? I'm going to click in here, see the blinking cursor, and now I'm going to navigate. I'm going to go to File, Place, and this time I'm going to get Calendar. Calendar text. See right here? Click it. Sometimes you have to click it aggressively. Open, and there is the type, which needs to be formatted. And when you see this little red box down in the lower right, that means there's more type. So we're going to have to flow the type into the different columns. We have to select our frame. Okay, it's selected. You now can see all these little boxes. Your book doesn't say this, but I find rather than the black selection tool, the white direct selection tool is what works for me. I click it, and now watch. You'll see the link, and you'll see the text that's going to be moving over to the middle of the second column. And you place it. And there it is. You can see if you look, there's a red box with a plus. So there's clearly more text. So I'm going to go up here to File, Save, just to be cautious. Then I'm going to click here and click in the middle of this text box. And there's the rest of the copy. We're going to be using styles, paragraph styles, to format the text in these columns. In this lesson, we're not only going to use paragraph styles, we are going to use character styles. Okay, so go ahead and get the type tool. Let's get back here into InDesign. Here's the type tool, and just click into the word January. See that? I'll highlight it, and I edit it. You'll see the edited version. So I have to edit that out. In the Paragraph Styles panel, again, here's the Paragraph Styles panel. I've got paragraph, and I've got character, but I want paragraph right now. It's going to say Paragraph Style panel, click calendar month. See, look at what happened to January. It has a style. You're going to do that to all of the months. So you have to look around because you're not going to do it to the events. That's a different style. Here's just February, and we're going to go calendar months. I think they go as far as March. Yes, they do. March is down here right now. And again, you're going to click calendar. You're going to click inside so you have a blinking cursor. You're going to click over here in the paragraph style, calendar month. There we go. Very good. I'm going to save it now. This is a lot of work. Okay. We're going to select all the type between January and February. See that? And we're going to go calendar event, and it's going to pick out the calendar event. See, it reformatted everything in there, and we're going to do that for February. See, look at how it did it. There's lots of styles there. We're going to go all the way to March. See, I'm dragging it around and clicking calendar event. And then I'm going to go to March and do the same thing, calendar event. And then I'm going to go to my selection tool to click off. And I'm going to go Command S or Control S to save. And we've got that style applied. I'm going to apply character styles. I want you to take the zoom tool here, zoom in to see where your wheels is. I'm going to hold the space bar so I get the hand temporarily and move it so it's more centered. word wheels, so I have to go to the type tool and select it, your wheels. There we go. Select wheels. There we go. You can either click and double click and it'll, or you can click and drag and then just click italic in the character panel. And now you've italicized the word wheels. Use find and change to italicize across a story. So we're going to get find and change to italicize the word wheels across the entire story here. All right, you're going to right click, Mac or PC, you're going to right click, and if you don't have a right click on your Mac, you should, because you might not have your mouse set up right, but if you don't, you can hold the control key on the Mac, not the PC. That does something different. So I'm going to right click and look for find change. There we go. And I'm going to type in, what do you think? Wheels. And I'm going to say, so now we're going to go down to change format and specify attributes. In the change format settings, if you go under character style, you're going to go click italic. Okay. Sorry. No, that's fine. I'm just going to put it on. Next thing we have to do after we've selected the italic is say change all. Search is completed, one replacement made, done. All right, we're going to be applying object styles, which you can apply to objects, pictures, paragraphs. So there's a wide range of things you can apply objects to. And in this particular lesson, right now, we're going to place some text into a frame and then apply an object style to the frame so that the entire frame is formatted into a single click. Pages panel, double click page 1. So there we've got page 1. Once the page is displayed, you may need to decrease the magnification. Well, I know I certainly do. So I'm going to go to the zoom tool, hold the Option or Alt key, depending on what platform you're on. I'm going to, oops, that was a mistake. I'll edit it out. Page 1. There we go. Fit on screen. I double click the zoom tool to fit on screen. Under view, you would go fit page in window, actual size. No, not actual size on this one. Fit page in window. There we go. Okay, it's telling us we want to insert, get the text tool and click in here. This is on the pasteboard, by the way. This is not on the document. So they have this panel in here, and we're going to go into File Place. There we go, File Place. Go to the Links folder and select the sidebar text. And there it is. And click Open. There it is. Get your selection tool, the black arrow, and make sure this is selected, and it is. We see the box, the bounding box, or whatever you want to call it. And next we're going to go to Window Styles, Object Styles. Window Styles, Object Styles. And they clearly have made us an object style. So what we're going to do is click in the middle of the frame, and drag it over here to the right side of your document. There we go. And now we're going to click Sidebar and see it added a drop shadow. It changed the color of the background. It added multiple styles here in object style. You could have applied this to a picture if you wanted. Work with graphics. You can work with a wide variety of graphics in InDesign. PDFs, TIFFs, JPEGs, EPS. You can also place native Creative Suite files such as Photoshop, Illustrator. So there's a wide variety of pictures you can add to InDesign. Like text, you put them inside a frame. You don't have to make the frame first, but you can. So what we're going to do is double click on page 4. Deselect all. Deselect all in InDesign. InDesign does not have a select drop down, so it's in edit. Now where it clearly there's nothing selected because it's grayed out, so we're in good shape. If it was black, you'd click it. Okay, so I'm going to move object styles out of the way for a second here. I'm going to go to, you're going to click on the layers icon up here. It's the same in Illustrator. So there's the layers. I'm going to pull this out so we can see it. Layers panel, you're going to click graphics because that's where you want your picture to end up. So make sure you select it. And then we're going to go choose file place. We're going to go choose file place. In the links folder that's inside the lesson folder, you're going to pick the cyclist.psd and click open. Now because there's no frame, it's got a little image at the end of your cursor. So we're going to click in the upper left. You can see it on page 667 where you're going to put it to start with. Up here. Just be actually at the bleed line because this is going to bleed off the page. The red line's the bleed line, remember? Black line, document line, magenta, safe line. So we're going to go up to the bleed line and click. We're not done because we need to make it bigger. Make sure you scale both the frame, the border here, and you scale it proportionally, and the image. You have to hold the Shift key and the Command key on the Mac. We'll continue to hold down these keys, use your mouse, and click and hold the handle located in the lower right. There you go. If it doesn't work the first time, try it again. But now you've moved both, resized both. The image, you're going to crop the image by reducing the height of the frame, keeping the image the same size, but reducing parts of it that will be visible, the parts that will be visible. Locate the center handle, and you're going to pull up till it snaps to that guide. Now I'm going to move this center, and now they're all snapped to. Okay, the image remains the same size, but it's cropped at the bottom. The bottom is cropped and will not print or display when converted to a digital document. Next, we're going to position graphics within a frame. Navigate to page 1. I'm going to double click it. There we go, on page 1. In your book it says use this thing to navigate. You can do either one. When you have a lot of pages, it might be easier to use this. Focus on the graphics. We're going to hide the visibility of the text layer. And we're going to focus on the graphics. In the Tools panel, get the black selection tool if you don't already have it. And you're going to click on this frame that's already there. And we're going to go to File, Place, and this time we're going to get Snowshoe and open. And there it is. Doesn't quite fit. We're going to fit it next. Your cursor over the image, but you're not going to click. So don't click yet. The indicator, this is the content indicator. See this circle thing here? This is the content indicator. The edges of the image are displayed with a light blue border. I don't see that. Showing the size of the graphics. The color of the border varies when you use multiple layers in your document. You'll now reposition the document so you can see of the image are displayed in light blue. So see how big this image really is? Let's scroll down. It's big. So we want to fit it inside that frame. Okay, with the content of the frame still selected, see? Huge. We're going to press and hold the Shift key, click the handle in the bottom right corner of the image, and drag the handle up to the left. Well, I can't see it, so I'm going to have to get my zoom tool, hold my Option key, Alt key on the PC, so I can see where this image is. See where the image is? Now I'm going to go back to this black arrow, hold the Shift key, and drag it up to fit inside there. Now some of it's getting cropped off, so I might want to move it. So we scaled the image without modifying the frame, which is what we wanted to do because that's where we want the image to be. Pressing the Shift key maintained the proportions of the image while it was scaled. Still want to reposition this picture. Let me zoom back in so we can kind of see what we're doing. Here, got the frame, and with the hand tool, see the image? So you can see the ghost image that's getting cut off. We can reposition this so we've got everything we want in the picture inside the frame. To edit the frame, instead of the content, which is the graphic, you can double click anywhere on the graphic. There's the frame. So if I want to change the frame, okay, with this selected, go ahead and click Command or Control 0, not O, 0. Now you see the text is going over the picture, so we have to fix that with text wrap. By the way, I turned on the visibility of the text. See? So we have to fix it with text wrap. Work. Command S, Control S on the PC. Text wrap. You can control the position of text relative to the graphic and other objects. In some cases, you may want text to be placed on top of an image, while in other cases, you may want it to wrap around the shape of an image. You'll continue to work on the first page of the brochure, applying text wrap. Using the selection tool, which is the black arrow, click to select the snowshoe image, which I have already selected. At the bottom of the page, click between the two columns, but be careful not to click the content indicator circle at the center of the image, as you will be manipulating the frame attributes in this exercise and not working with the content. Next, you'll enable text wrap on the image to force the text away from the image. Choose Window. I'm going to go down here hoping it's, yeah, there we go, text wrap. See, here is the text wrap panel. And click Wrap Around Bounding Box at the top of the text wrap panel to apply text wrap to the selected image. And that's the second one. And look, just like magic, and save it. This out. If I move the image around, it's going to keep wrapping around. InDesign is pretty awesome when it comes to working with type and layout. It's There we go. Save again. And we're going to, okay, we're getting to the end of this lesson. Understanding layers. Layers are a little bit different from Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign. On page 2. Now we're going to go fit spread in window. So view, fit spread in window, which means we've got both pages. We've got a lot of stuff going on here. Let me move some things around to get them out of the way. I don't know if we need object styles right now. We can always reopen these. Pages we're using a lot, but we're going to focus on layers right now. So I'm just going to make it into the icon by attaching it there. And text wrap I'm going to bring over here. So I can always re-access these, but we want to focus on layers right now and understand these, okay? Okay, click the layers button, which I did. There's the layers. And we've got text, graphics, and background content. That's what they gave us. Click the visibility icon to the text layer. That's the eyeball. See, all the text disappears. Click to turn the visibility of the graphics and background content on and off to see where items are located. See, that's background. That's a graphic as the background. So you can see the watermark. And then background content, clearly, well, that's the watermark. So graphics is the blue, and the routine maintenance is not on the text layer, interestingly enough. This is what's on, oh no, it is. Interesting. Yeah. Okay, so if I turn off these two, this is the only thing that's on the graphics layer. So it's good to know that for all the programs, by the way. Let's see. Double click page 1. So we've got to go get the pages back. I'm going to pull this out and put this over here and double click page 1. And using the selection tool, which is the black arrow, and there are times that sometimes I use the white arrow because the black arrow doesn't seem to work. Just remember that. Click and select the frame containing the snowshoe image, which is what we just brought in. At the bottom of the page, if you have trouble selecting it, click the visibility icon for the text layer to temporarily hide the text frames, if you need to. I don't think I need to, so let's see. After selecting the image frame, oh, that wants us to click the text. All right, so there's the text gone. So the graphics is selected. No, it isn't. Now graphics is selected. See that? See the difference? The text was selected, but the eyeball was off. Graphics is selected now. See the little pen there? Is we're going to lock the background layer because we're not going to move it. We don't want it to move while we're doing other stuff. See, between the eyeball now that's going to make a difference on this. These are the layers, and it doesn't matter. This is what's going to get locked right there. See, it's locked. Okay, if you recall, the background content is this image. This is the graphics. So if I try to move this image, nothing happens. If I lock the graphics, nothing happens. I'm going to unlock the graphics. But we've got this watermark solid. So we're still back on page 1, but we locked the background content. See the red line through the pen tip? So it's locked. First thing you're going to do is you're going to move the graphic. See, it's surrounded with red. See that little red dot? To the background content. Now it's green, and now you're going to lock it. Now it won't move. So you had to move it. or at least I had to move mine because mine was on the graphics layer. So now mine is on this layer. If I undo that, see, look, the whole thing moves. Undo. So I'm going to lock it. And yours may be on the correct layer. Yours may be on the background content layer. Mine wasn't. Unlock the layer by clicking the padlock immediately to the left of the background content layer. Locking a layer prevents all items on that layer from being selected. You can use this to organize your layout as you construct your documents. For example, you can create a layer that contains all the guides for your document, and you can lock the guides so they're not accidentally selected. I do lock layers sometimes because I start working and don't realize, and then all of a sudden something gets moved out of position. You can unlock it and lock it easily. This next part, we're going to apply effects. So let's start with double-clicking page 2 to bring page 2 back in here. And this is the 2-3 spread. So right now we're on page 2. Using the selection tool, select the blue border in the upper left corner. That's interesting. I think we need to be on the graphics layer. No. Oh, the blue border. Sorry. Right here. This is what we want to select. See? That's what we're selecting. So we're selecting the blue border. Click the Effects button. It's an FX in the panel docking area, or choose Window Effects. So let's see, Window Effects. And there's our effects window. I'm going to move it over here to the left because there's too much stuff going on the right. Now we have the effects panel. In the effects panel, we're going to go and click Add an object to the selected target. At the bottom of the panel, right here, see, little effects, object. All right, in the effect, make sure that the object's highlighted, which is graphics, which is this blue thing. So it's highlighted. It's what we've got selected. We're going to go to effects, and we are going to add bevel and emboss from the menu. Okay, now we have another menu that came up. In the effects dialog box, we're just going to use the defaults and say OK. Now see what happened? It beveled and embossed our blue background. Click Screen Mode in the application bar at the top of the workspace. Right here, Screen Mode. And switch to Preview. You have to really click it. You can't just highlight it. Preview mode to see the final object without any non-printing elements. So there it is. And the frame edges. You can also press W to switch between viewing modes and screen modes. So that would be your keyboard shortcut. See, W, W. That's kind of a nice keyboard shortcut. Okay, now we're done. File save. And you completed lesson 1.